Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a good time. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can refactor your code by moving this out from home view controller into home view. And the reason for moving this code is because this is something that belongs in the view, because we are laying out home view in the view of home view controller. It is the view of home view controller, but it is not the task of the controller to handle how its view is being laid out. So we'll move this chunk of code into home view, and for doing that, we have to think about something, and that is in home view controller we have a reference of home view, but in home view we don't have a reference of home view controller. So like in home view we are anchoring the home view to the view of home view controller, and in here we have home view, but in here if we want to anchor it to the view of home view controller, we don't have home view controller here. So the first thing is that we need a reference of home view controller here, and we will make this reference weak home view controller. The reason for making it weak is that two objects cannot have a strong reference to each other, otherwise it will create memory issues for the app. One of them has to be weak. In technical terms, it's called a retain cycle if two objects have a strong reference to each other. So in how the iOS framework manages the memory is as such. So it if an object is removed from memory and another object has a strong reference to it which is alive, it will not get removed. But if the other object has a weak reference to it, it will get removed. So I do not want to go into the details of a retain cycle and memory management, but you just need to know that one of two objects that have reference to each other, one of the reference has to be weak. So now we have a home view controller in here. So we can move this code. I'll cut this from here and move it in a new function, setup home view. So in here home view is self and home view controller is an optional. So first we need to get the non-optional home view controller. We will do optional conditional unwrapping, like if let home view controller is equals to home view controller with a small h, then do something, and we'll move this code in here. So inside this, inside in here, inside these brackets, inside the scope of this block here, home view controller is not an optional but a non-optional. So we need to add home view, the self, to the view of home view controller. So I'll copy it from here and put it here. So now the home view self is added to the view of home view controller, and in here we don't need this. Similarly, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. So the left anchor of self, that is home view, has a constraint, is constrained to the left of home view controller, the view of home view controller, like so. So now the issue is, where shall we call this function setup home view? We can call it in here and try running it, but it shall not work. It will not work. Let's see what it shows in the simulator, and I'll tell you later why it will not work like so. So we have a blank black screen as we used to do. So what's the problem? In here, we're not doing anything. Like home view controller does not, when it is loaded, it does not have a home view added to it. So in here, we need to do something. And what is that thing? So in here, we need to tell that home view dot home view controller is equals to self. Now both of them have a reference to each other when the view is loaded. And in here, we need to, okay, now let's place a breakpoint point here and check if it comes inside the scope of this block. So we have got an error, and that is okay. So I'll remove it for now and run the code. So we have a blank black screen again. So and the code did not hit up till here. So we are calling it in the initializer, but the problem is when the view home view is initialized, that is when a home view controller is initialized, it does not know, uh, it does not has its home view controller property set at the time before the view is loaded. It only happens after the view loads in here. So before that, when home view controller is created, that is in the line 13, it does not has its home view controller property set, and that is why it does not hit this breakpoint. So we need to call this method setup home view controller only after its home view controller property is set. So what we can say is we say did set here, and in here we call setup home view controller. So as soon as home view controller property is set, which is after the view loads in here, this property, this function is called, and now we shall hit this breakpoint here if we call this. So I'll remove this from here, and now let's run this. So now we hit this breakpoint. So it means that now we have home view controller property set, and we hit play and we get hello world. So this is the correct way of placing view code in view file. So now we have this controller file that does not have any view code in it, and in here we have home view, which has all home view related code in it. So in here we can say we can right click and refactor it and extract it out and say setup views. And in here what we can say is we can, to refactor some code, we can say let view is equals to home view, home view, home view, and move this code from here in here, because these are properties specific to home view. So we can refactor that code in here. Now let's run it to see if everything works fine. Yep. So we've got hello world again, and this is the correct way of doing uh, coding according to the design pattern of Model Views Controllers (MVC). I hope you like this video. I'll be back with another one in less than no time. Thanks. Bye bye.